Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Jim Kinnear. Our efforts at having a virtual class meeting this evening did not appear to work out. I didn't see anybody log in, so I'm not sure if there were some problems with communicating the message for the link, if there were any technical issues, or if it was just bad timing. Regardless, I wanted to take this opportunity to share some of the slides that I had prepared for the virtual class meeting in the hopes that it might be useful to you. This is a picture of what my APA manual looks like. And you'll notice there are post-it notes, there are torn pages, and it's starting to fall apart. Those are all signs of use. My hope is by the end of this program, when you finish your degree, your APA manual is going to look just as bad as mine, because that's going to show that you're using it on a regular basis and that you're referring to it. It is very important to make sure that you're making every effort to follow APA style as you're doing your academic writing in this program. When I see students struggling a little bit with APA, I think part of it is getting the right mindset for APA. I want you to think of APA as academic shorthand. And it's very important because the idea is here to make it very easy for you as a reader to understand the research that the author is talking about and be able to make connections and associations. When individuals do research for a living, they typically have a line of research, particular subject area or matter that they focus on, and their name might be published multiple times around that particular topic. So what happens is there's name recognition. So when you hear that name, boom, automatically someone who's familiar with the literature is aware of who they are, the types of research that they've done, and how it all connects. So in APA, when we're using that author date method, we're helping to kind of make that quick recognition of that name. And it also is a quick reference to the actual reference list. So when I'm looking at a paper and I read a particular statement and I see a researcher's name after that, and I want to immediately find out more about that source, because the in-text citation has the last name and the date, and because the reference list starts with the last name and then the date, I'm able to quickly go and look for that information if I want to find some more information. So it's not an accident that we're using this method of citation. It's meant to make it convenient. That said, one of the common errors that I see students that are new to APA making is they will feel a need to refer to a source by using the full title of the article in their paper. So you see an example on this slide where I've done that, where I'm writing out that full name or full title of the article. This does not help me if I'm interested in knowing who did this study and when they did this study. And it really just takes up a lot of extra space in the paper. And we want to try to use as few words as possible to express our ideas. So when you look at the bottom here, you can see rather than list that long title, I just list the author and the date, and then I can move on to making my point. So this is a much more efficient way of making reference to your various studies in your paper. So another tip related to APA is that in past coursework, you might have used other citation styles. And for instance, there's MLA. And I find that sometimes students that are accustomed to those other styles have a really hard time to adjust to APA. So one quick item that I can notice right away is if somebody uses the term works cited, that's very much an MLA term rather than references. If you're writing an APA paper, you need to use the term references at the top of your reference list. Another quick tip is when you are completing your reference list, sometimes in the credit for an article, it will list credentials like PhD and MD and RN and such. When you are making your reference list, you do not include those credentials. So it's the last name of the author, and then you might include in the reference list the first initial for the middle and first name if those are given, but you are not going to include anything like PhD, MD, and such, even if it's listed somewhere in the article. So here's a couple other examples of things to look out for. Journal titles. In APA style writing, the title of the article that you are using should be in what I call sentence case. That means the first word of the article, title, and any proper nouns should be capitalized. However, no other words in the title should be capitalized. So here's an example. You see in the first example, I've kind of put things in title case. And again, if you're using a reference source, this might be how you see something come across in print. But I need to change that to what you see down below in green and putting that into the proper format. APA is very specific and very detailed. And there's a lot of rules in terms of the syntax of how you write. And I kind of think of it in two ways. Part of it, I think about it as punctuation in a sentence. And so that missing period, that missing comma, can change the meaning and have a significant impact on your words. So you have to pay attention to those little details. Also, if you've ever done any computer programming or coding, syntax is very important. So one missed mark of syntax of material and code can have a significant impact and your code won't work as a result. So think about APA with that same discipline. So here's an example where someone has just missed putting in the periods after that, these initials for the first name and the middle name for the authors. So this, again, it's a minor error, but it is nonetheless an error in terms of APA format. APA also gives some rules and guidelines for how the headings in your papers should appear. For your research project, most of your headings are going to be upper and lower case, bolded, and centered, similar to what the first heading is here under dues. Headings in APA should not have a colon. They should not be underlined. They should not be in all caps. Take a look at page 62 in your APA manual for examples on this topic. So there you have it. Those are some quick tips and things to look out for as you're working on your assignments. As always, please use the Message Center in Canvas to contact me if you have any questions or if I can help in any way. Have a great week.